Welcome, trainers, to the Lion City League Season 2 Pokemon Unite Qualifier Number 1, the Knockout Stage. My name is MJ, your gym leader slash host for today, and this event is brought to you by the 3 Big Cats along with our official partners, Prism Plus, and the Pokemon Unite Singapore community. Of course, we are looking at a tournament that will revolutionize the esports scene here in Singapore. Let's look at the format that we have for this season. We're looking at 3 qualifiers, one for each month, and Pokemon Unite is set on the third weekend of every month. And the top 8 teams that scores the highest points will move on to the LCL Championships on June, which is an offline event. So, just for today, we have a prize pool of $600 up for grabs just for qualifiers. I mean, have you ever heard of that? Yeah, and we're looking at $600 distributed amongst the elite, masters, and challengers, with the champion gaining 10 LCL points and walking away with $200. So if you think you got what it takes to win any of these prizes, then head on over to our socials in Lion City League, in Instagram and Facebook, and even on Twitch to sign up for the next few qualifiers in the next few months. And without further ado, let us move on to Pokemon Unite's number 1 eye candy and Mr. Funny Guy, Rocks and Cake. It's so nice to see you guys. We had a very intense day 1 yesterday. Cake, why don't you bring us through the knockout stage groups?
Alright, let's see it. Alright, first up we have NSV, Divinity, and Star 9 in this knockout stage for this group.
Rox, why don't you bring us to the next one?
Alright, and in the Master category, we have Renaissance, Kimochi, as well as Pokeballers fighting it out for the first 2 prizes in the Master rank. And in the third one, we also have the Challenger League. And the teams in it will be Hashira X and TJKQA, also known as Royal Flush.
Right, and the first game we will be seeing is NSV versus Divinity. So, Cake, why don't you bring us through what you think will happen for this first match?
Well, we've seen yesterday NSV putting up a really great fight against Pokeballers, while Divinity, they just showed a really dominating performance overall. So while I'm confident that NSV will be able to put up a fight, I think that chances are Divinity might take this match.
Rox, do you agree with what Cake said?
Well, I think Divinity has definitely shown us a very strong showing across all the different competitions that they have gone through. But I also think that NSV coming in as the underdogs, being a little bit more of an unknown team at this point, it gives them that kind of benefit as well. So we really won't know what we will be seeing. Oh, it looks like we are going to have a look at what the character selection stage is for both teams right now.
Well, okay. Well, on NSV, they have banned Venusaur and Lucario, while on Divinity's side, they banned Pikachu and Cinderace. And with that, we have Hoopas open for the taking. As we all know, Hoopa, my favorite to see during the competitions like this, with all the rotations and stuff. But we have a difference in the supports, right? Those 2 pink blobs.
Yeah, definitely. We are looking at a very different matchup. I mean, looking at the side of both teams, there isn't any similarities except for the Hoopa. So I think the gameplay is going to be very different. The win conditions for each team will also be very different depending on like the main attackers and how they kind of use the Hoopa to create like sort of rotations within the match itself.
But what I'm really interested to see though is Ninetales, because we all know Ninetales just got buffed recently, and Aurora View just looks better and feels better as well, especially with the dash. But enough talking, let's go into the match where we have NSV against Divinity. Now with the junglers, we have Absol and Gardevoir. Oh wait, I was wrong, not Absol. It's going to be a Talonflame in the jungle with Absol in the lane.
Interesting choice right there, and I think we are also looking at a very different strategy for both teams. NSV choosing to go for the 2-1-2 and Divinity going for the 1-1-3 situation. So I think at the top lane they will be able to apply a lot more. Oh, sorry, it's a 1-1-3 on both sides. And with the team composition on NSV, they have the Valpix, they have the Slowpoke and Hoopa, all ranged Pokemon. So they should be able to apply a lot more pressure in lane. But it seems that Divinity has an early level 4 onto the Sylveon, and this allows them to play extremely aggressive, bringing them down so low.
Oh, that is pretty aggressive. I mean, once you have the Sylveon with the Hyper Voice, that's so much damage you can do, as we see over there. But then again, it's kind of like my first time seeing Sylveon in a really, really long... could this possibly have any reason for this?
Well, I think Sylveon right now, it skills pretty early in the game. I mean, you get the level spike already at level 4, and you can really see how much pressure is going on just in the bottom lane. I think the whole idea is to kind of make sure that bottom lane wins in the early game, and they just try and snowball their way from there. And I think therefore, like, this pick is actually something that has been coming up in a lot of the ranked games nowadays, considering that certain Pokemons, especially the junglers, take a while to actually get online. So having something to make sure that you have a good early to mid game is quite important now.
And speaking of junglers coming online, Dev has to pay the price for his greediness. We saw his greedy Lucario yesterday, but I think the greedy Talonflame this time against the Curlia just didn't really pay off. Now, meanwhile, on the top lane, Divinity is going to be putting up a showing right here. Two Pokemon just trying to pressure this Machamp, but Hoopa is going to come in with the rotations. Now, we've seen Hoopa with the Hyperspace Hole, allowing teams to have so fast rotations. Could we possibly see something like that happen again this match?
We would definitely be looking at a lot of team fights and a lot of unexpected rotations. I think that is really the kind of aspect that we're looking for when there's a Hoopa in the game.
And speaking of Hoopas, I'm just really wondering whether a Trick Hoopa will come out now. But you know what? It's a competitive stage. They're probably realistically it's probably not going to happen. But I'm just going to keep my hopes up. And these two teams better keep their hopes up as well, as Dreadnought is going to be spawning soon. The first camp of bees have already been taken, and both teams have just opted to leave one Pokemon up on the top lane, probably to contest for the Rotom, while the entirety of them are standing off an imposing position to fight for this Dreadnought. Now, Divinity is going to be looking on the offensive as the Brave Bird comes in, trying to deal so much damage to Divinity, but Curlia is going to clean up this Absol, while the Surf comes in with the crowd control, being negated by Safeguard though, but that's not going to negate his elimination, as NSV is just going to wipe out Divinity. Divinity has no choice. They have to fight this, but Talonflame will get taken down by Ninetales as NSV just chunks away at this Dreadnought while the Hoopa tries to steal, but it's not going to work. Gardevoir manages to sweep Dreadnought from under Divinity's feet, and that's going to be the EXP and shields being handed over to NSV.
I think in the situation just now, Divinity definitely thought that they had the benefit of having this Talonflame going straight for the Curlia, but unfortunately NSV was able to respond very quickly in that fight, and they were able to take down the very squishy heroes on Pokemon on the side of Divinity, and with that they actually now had the advantage of having the Gardevoir now at level 10 ready to take on the team fights.
Alright, you've talked about Sylveon having that really strong early game pressure with the Hyper Voice and that damage, but right now as we're transitioning into the mid game, where do you think the power lies now? Like, is it going to be towards NSV or is it going to be towards Divinity?
Personally, I feel that Divinity's team composition looks a lot better for me. I think the Talonflame is an extremely good pick to answer to the Gardevoir, but unfortunately we didn't get to see that just now, and right now NSV does have that level advantage. I think in this case, Divinity, they do want to make sure that they play a little bit more carefully. They need to know when it's a good time to actually go in onto this Gardevoir or this Ninetales, because these are the squishy Pokemon on the side of NSV that they want to clear out first before they can do anything to the side of NSV.
Well, we're probably going to see Divinity just go jungle hunting before hunting for the rest of NSV. So right now, NSV is just taking some rotations, just farming their common farm. But Hoopa on Divinity's side doesn't really seem to have their Unite yet, while NSV's Hoopa already has that Unite. So I think we'll probably be seeing those really great auto plays coming in from NSV really soon as the Dreadnought is about to spawn. Now NSV is going to be having four Pokemon actually, just getting ready to take this Dreadnought again. And will this be a deja vu? And the Rings Unbound is going to get popped from the side of NSV as everybody just jumps through the portal trying to lock down this Dreadnought. Divinity also gets a Hoopa of their own, and it will be Divinity's Blissey that manages to steal the Dreadnought, this time from NSV, and it's going to be the team fight that NSV is going to take as Ninetales falls. The crowd control from Hoopa is going to be dealing so devastating effects to NSV. 4 Pokemon down. Talonflame, Sana is looking for the last pick, but Hoopa is going to be able to escape. No, wait, I was wrong. He is not going to escape as he picks up a double kill. Divinity with the Dreadnought steal and the team wipe. That's going to be a complete reversal of the situation from the first fight.
That's exactly right. I believe it is because in the mid game, the Ninetales is not as strong. It needs its level 13 for the next power spike, and in the late game, it does a lot better. And in the case just now, we saw the Fairy Singularity coming in from the side of NSV, but only manages to catch one. Not to mention, it was only the Blissey that got caught, and because of that, Divinity actually had the vision given from the Blissey to actually go in onto the Ninetales, onto the Gardevoir, and just help them to actually take that team fight so well. And now, I mean, looking at the level differences, it's more or less even, but Divinity is in the lead with the scores.
And speaking of that, Talonflame going in with the Flame Sweep, putting the Machamp and the Gardevoir to so low, and they force to retreat. But Gardevoir isn't able to retreat. Dive straight in with the Brave Bird. What a brave bird he is, just taking that risk while Rotom is still mercilessly marching down the top lane. NSV will defend this though, but Divinity is going to take the opportunity and try to score in the bot lane. Slowbro does finally take down this egg of a healer from Divinity though, and it's just going to be back to farming for both sides.
Yeah, I think Divinity right there, they know that Brave Bird has such mobility and how squishy the Gardevoir is, just going in even though it's at the tier 3 base of NSV, just playing very aggressively, very daringly. Divinity just coming in extremely dominant, knowing exactly what to do in all the team fights and all the situations of catching Pokemon on the side of NSV out.
Now we are going to be looking at the last Dreadnought over here, and anticlimactically, it's just going to go to Divinity just like that. NSV not really putting much of a resistance, as I think they're going to be positioning themselves for the Zapdos fight, which is going to be spawning in 10 seconds, but it's going to be their tank, that Slowbro that falls before the Zapdos is spawned. That's going to be putting them at a numbers disadvantage. And as you said, Ninetales already with that level 13. Will we probably see a reversal of a situation that has been happening so far? Divinity positioning themselves, preventing NSV from even coming in or even having the thought of taking the Zapdos. Probably a big team fight will be happening soon, as Hoopa is just positioning himself in that mid lane right there. Possibly going to be popping the hoops, the Rings Unbound. And, okay.
You need to find an angle to come in if they want to take this Zapdos fight. But their NSV is a little bit split up at the moment. I think Divinity has a very commanding positioning in the Zapdos pit right now. And NSV is just taking the time to actually find the right angle and right timing to actually go in. It seems like they have managed to get into the Zapdos pit, but Hoopa from the side of Divinity actually coming in with the Unite move already.
And meanwhile, the Slow Beam catches Jet Speed, and the Silver will fall as well. Snow Globe does get launched by this Ninetales right here, and Wraith will fall. Is NSV just collapsing upon Divinity, and this is just a comeback story like you said. The Abs over there trying to find a pick, but it's not going to be enough. NSV still has numbers, but the Brave Bird goes in and steals this Zapdos. Bird for bird. Wait, it's not the bird that steals the Zapdos, but the Absol. But will it matter though? NSV and Divinity, they don't really have any Pokemon to score. Sana and never mind, it's gonna be a surrender over there from the side of. And I think Divinity will be taking this match.
Wow, that was a crazy first match of the day. I can't even. Wow, NSV actually taking the time to actually find the right positioning to get into the Zapdos pit and take an extremely fight at the Zapdos pit, even though they were coming in from the back in terms of the points. I think they really did a great job in the Zapdos pit, taking the team fight so well, landing the Slow Beam onto the Blissey, as well as getting this Fairy Singularity on 3 on the side of Divinity. Unfortunately, Absol and Talonflame are two of the main attackers on the side of Divinity that they weren't able to bring down. Absol and Talonflame are extremely scary since they can do a lot of damage, and we saw how they managed to actually steal the Zapdos even though most of the team was already gone and in base. So wow, that was an amazing gameplay from both teams.
Well, it shows sometimes quantity may not equal to quality, and if you have the right timing, you can just jump right in and steal Zapdos. But it's not to say that NSV did not put up a fight. Just look at the numbers over here. They have eliminated so many Pokemon on the side of Divinity, and Divinity did respond in kind, but in the end, it's just that electric bird that really just flips the games. You never know what can happen, and as we nearly had that underdog story that we were hoping to look forward to, but it's okay. There's still the next game, and anything can happen, really.
Yeah, I think NSV really they took the very first Dreadnought really well, and I think the picks that Divinity did initially, it didn't really work out that well, but they managed to use Talonflame extremely well against the Gardevoir. But NSV also kind of answered back with the slow beam targeting Jaspi so well, such that they take out the tank on the team, the sustain on the team, the vision for the team, and taking the team fight so well. I think we will be definitely seeing a lot more action in the second game and potentially third game as well.
Well, but
Right.
we have seen Divinity's team come kind of just countering whatever NSV has, especially with the sudden dives from the Talonflame. So what can NSV possibly do actually?
I think the Talonflame is an extremely good pick right now. If you're talking about picking a jungler that if NSV is going to pick a jungler that is ranged, it tends to be a bit more squishy. And with the Blissey in front of the Talonflame, it really gives you a lot of vision, and it allows you to make the decision whether or not you can actually brave but into the fight and all that kind of stuff. So I think if they want to pick something, well, I think the Slowbro is still a good pick against this Talonflame, right? If you're able to keep the Talonflame in check and you're able to kind of keep him down, then it's all right. But in this case, if they are going to go with the Talonflame again, perhaps the better option is to kind of opt for your own Talonflame, or something that has a lot more sustain. Maybe the Venusaur with the Pedal Dance as well as the Giga Drain will be able to stay alive for longer.
Yeah,
Okay.
we saw NSV take the win from Pokeballers yesterday, but today they get to challenge Divinity, and we saw the graph where in the beginning they were holding quite well, but unfortunately it was Divinity who took the win. So, Cake, are you confident that they if they do a drastic change in their strategy, NSV will get a chance for a third match, or were they just unlucky?
We saw it just now. NSV, it wasn't a stomp. Honestly, it was not a stomp.
Yeah, it
They did
wasn't.
put up a good fight, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a Goliath against David. A David against a Goliath. But we want to see David put up a good fight against Goliath, even though David might not win. But NSV is showing promise. They really took that team fight really, really well at the Zapdos pit. So I am confident that they might be able to pull something out. I'm
Right.
confident. But
Yeah,
Divinity, they're the mainstays. They're the top. So it may not come as a surprise that they might take the win. But NSV is going to make them work for it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they all made it to the elite division, and Rox, you were saying that if they changed their Pokemon choices, they could get a chance. But what else are you looking at for this NSV team in terms of their team composition and strategy?
Well, I think that once they have gotten the team composition right, it's really about whether or not you know when to engage and disengage in certain fights. And I think NSV has shown us that they are able to make the right decisions throughout the entirety of the game. So I think it really comes down to making sure that they make all these decisions that Divinity perhaps are not that aware of, and force them to make a mistake. And once Divinity does make a mistake, it's when NSV can actually come back into this game.
And we're on towards their Pokemon choices. Cake, can you take us through it? Are there any changes from the previous game?
Honestly, nope. We're going to be looking at the Ninetales from which they used to pretty good effect. And the Hoopa, Slowbro, Machamp. Wait, did we see a Machamp just now?
Yeah,
But
there was a Machamp. It was at top lane.
Oh, right, yes, against the Lucario, correct? But
Yeah.
now this time
No,
instead
not Lucario.
oh,
but
but
Absol.
Oh, right. So yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been seeing so many Lucarios embedded into my mind already. But the jungler this time, instead of Gardevoir, it's a Cinderace. And Divinity also got rid of their Absol and brought in a Cinderace instead. So we're going to be looking at the appearance of two fire rabbits against each other. Honestly, at this point, I am not sure who's going to go into a jungle. The Slowbro might go into the jungle for all you know.
I think if that was to happen, I would be entirely shocked at that.
I mean,
But-
like, who doesn't like surprises, right?
Yes, exactly. But okay, I honestly don't think we will see that in this game. But I think the team comp changes would be quite interesting to see. It will be quite interesting to see how like the team compositional changes will affect the games to date.
And we are jumping right straight into this game as Divinity against NSV. Divinity 1 point ahead. Now, just looking at the laning, they're doing the same old, but instead of a Talonflame jungle this time, we're going to be looking at two rabbits against each other in the central area. Now, I think, Rox, I heard you mention before, the first rabbit to get the power spike this time would be the one that was going to be able to apply the pressure on the team. So how can we ensure that these rabbits are able to fully utilize their kits?
Well, I think looking at the top lane now, both teams are actually using a melee Pokemon. So once both Raboot actually reaches the top lane, you know it really depends on the positioning whether or not they are able to actually catch out the Pokemon on the other side, or make sure that they get the last hit onto the bees, and that will give them the level the EXP advantage in the early stages of the game.
And another thing I'm pretty interested to know about, like since both of them have kind of changed up their compositions a bit, what would be the win conditions for them?
Well, I think for the side of Divinity with the Talonflame pick as well still, so they really want to be going in onto the Cinderace, make sure that the Cinderace, the main damage dealer on the side of NSV, goes down first, and with that they will be able to win the team fights. And on the side of NSV, it is whether or not that Slowbro is able to catch out the Cinderace, the Blissey, or even the Talonflame on the side of Divinity, to make sure that in the team fights they have that kind of advantage to actually take on Divinity.
We do love to see some really nice slow beams, don't we? And okay, Crow with the Astonish, scaring this poor Sylveon back to base, while these three Pokemon are going to be putting the pressure onto this goal zone. Sana just having his health just chucked down to so low, while our little Hoopa from Divinity will go back and come back with some more support. Oh, okay, that's really cute. A Salak Berry just standing next to the Citrus Berry right there. I mean, you can only see this with Hoopa games. You can only see this with Hoopa games. That's another reason why I really love Hoopa. Unexpected berries in unexpected locations. But this is going to be really unexpected though, as Divinity will get caught out by NSB. Two supports will leave, but their main damage dealer, which is the Sylveon, will fall. Oh, never mind. Next to fall will be this Blissey, as NSV is going to be applying this early game pressure onto this first tier goal. Chucked down to so low, and it is broken before Dreadnought even spawns. This is a complete reversal of what we saw previously, as Divinity was the one that was applying the pressure, but now it seems that NSV is taking its turn on the head, and they are going to be the ones that are going to take the initiative to start this Dreadnought.
Yeah, I think NSV, they understand that the Ninetales skills off in the mid game, and they want to make sure that the mid game doesn't last for too long. They want the Ninetales to get online as soon as possible to level 13, and then I think their team composition will be very robust in the next few team fights that might happen. And by breaking the tier 1 goal, which is quite uncommon because it gives the Divinity a little bit more farm at the bottom side with the Odino, it does give you a lot more space to kind of take this Dreadnought without much contest. It's what we have just saw.
And actually, did you see what I see? I think the Hoopa on the side of NSV actually took Trick. Oh, he did! He did take Trick! It's a Trick Shadow Ball Hoopa! Fellas, rejoice! Trick Hoopa fans, rejoice! We are going to be seeing a Trick Hoopa in this competitive stage. I am happy! But who's not happy? That's Cinderace from Divinity as he falls, just getting caught out in the enemy jungle, unfortunately, giving NSV just a little bit more EXP that I don't think they need it right now. They're ready to Dreadnought.
I think this choice of going for Trick is actually pretty good, because now Hoopa is not just something to help you with your rotations. It's really something to be the additional damage dealer that NSV might need, especially in this mid-game stage right now. So I think what they want to do is continue their current level leads and continue putting on so much pressure onto the side of Divinity.
Oh, but it'll be Divinity that's going to be putting the pressure onto the side of NSV though, with that Flame Sweep from Talonflame, but NSV is just going to respond in kind, and they don't really care. They're just going to face it straight on. Sana will go in, trying to sustain this Talonflame a little bit, but he will get chucked down to such a low HP. Brave Bird does get popped though, and it will be the Cinderace from NSV that falls. Ooh, as on the Slowbro will fall as well. This Talonflame dealing so much damage, but Machamp coming in with the barrage blows. But it's not enough to keep this Sylveon dead. He's gonna fall though, and Sana will be the next. Will he be the next? He's gonna go in, punch after punch after punch, but this egg is taking it like a champ. Machamp, what you gonna do? Absolutely nothing, as he's forced to run away with all his skills on cooldown.
Wow, that was really an interesting fight that happened in the mid game of things, and I think that is exactly what Divinity needs to do. They need to be finding all these kills as much as possible. Try and find an angle for them to get back all these comeback EXP, and now they do kind of have that already.
Oh, okay, Wraith with the Rings Unbound. As we said yesterday, Kaiman, Tianshan, and Body Barriers are handed out on day, as both teams are just committing everything that they have. But Dreadnought is so low, though. Who's gonna land? The last hit is going to be on the Hoopa, and NSV will fall. HPs are disappearing. Only one Pokemon remains. Just kidding. No Pokemon remains, as NSV is going to be taking a team wipe on their end, while Divinity is going to score these goals.
Wow, a very dominant performance coming in from Divinity. I think they are taking the fights a lot better this time. I think they definitely feel a little bit more level-headed, and NSV is just kind of making a little bit of a messy play at the team fight just now. I think there were so many things going on. They didn't know whether or not they wanted to target the Dreadnought. They didn't know whether or not they wanted to take the team fights, and it was just too messy overall, and they end up losing the entire fight, Dreadnought and the team fight after, and now they really need to catch up to Divinity as much as possible.
Yeah, now I just want to ask. Previously, we saw in the earlier stages of the game, NSV was so dominant against Divinity. But what happened? Like, why? How is Divinity starting to come back?
I think Divinity with the pick in the mid game just now, being able to get the kill onto the Cinderace, onto the Slowbro, and not just that, actually being able to dunk at the tier 2 goal post of NSV just now, allowed them to get back all the comeback EXP. I mean, looking at the level differences now, Talonflame is at 13. It has its final power spike. Cinderace is also at level 13. And now they definitely have that kind of position to play so aggressively and play for very strong team fights.
I mean, big team fights are what we want to see, right? Give the viewers what they want. Give us a really good team fight, and Dreadnought will be spawning soon. Just 17 seconds left on the clock. I'm not sure if anybody wants to take it though, as okay, never mind. Divinity is coming down. Full force sends Talonflame to take this Dreadnought, while NSV is positioned to just defend the Zapdos. Interesting play.
Yeah, I think NSV just now, they couldn't really find an angle into the Zapdos pit until it was a little bit later. So I think right now, they are going for a different approach. They probably are going to get a position into the Zapdos pit, maybe even start it straight away, catch Divinity off guard, force at 50-50, and turn the fight from there.
And meanwhile, while you say that, both Divinity and NSV is full force into the Zapdos pit. Rings Unbound from Wraith as he sends his comrades straight into the Zapdos pit, but NSV will respond in kind. 5 Pokemon, it's an all-out brawl. Unite moves are being popped. Jespy with the blazing bicycle kick, trying to catch this Machamp off position, and Machamp will fall. The Bliss Assistance giving Jespy the sustain that he needs. Slowbro with the Amnesia, just trying to keep himself alive for a while longer, but it's not gonna work. NSV is gonna fall. 4 Pokemon already down. Divinity showing such a strong team fight right there. Jespy doesn't care about the Zapdos. He cares about Crow. Crow will fall as well. Sent back straight to his trainer, and NSV will surrender yet again. Divinity with that really nice goal of 420 against 192 for NSV. Game 2 of the first match to Divinity. That's a 2-0. Divinity takes this first match.
I think we saw a much closer game in the first. We saw a much closer first game just now, and I think now both teams are actually, just warmed up and revved and ready for the matches to come. Divinity definitely has their head in this game, and they definitely put up an extremely strong performance this time, making sure that they don't even give NSV the chance to come back into this game at all. They take the team fight so well, they take the Zapdos fight so well, and just making the right decisions, zoning out NSV, making sure there's no chance for them to even take the Zapdos at all, and just a very beautiful team fights that Divinity is actually showing us today.
And can you believe that this is just the first game of the day? It's just game one. It's just game one. We've already seen so many things happening, like from Talonflame going to the jungle and falling to Curlia, which was pretty unexpected, to Crow taking Trick, which I really applaud him for. Crow, if you're going to be watching this on replay, thank you for taking Trick and giving hope to all us Trick Koopa fans. But yeah, as you said, it's probably just the kind of playstyle that both teams had. Maybe Divinity's decision making was a bit better in the second match against NSV, but NSV was so close in game one. But game two, I think it's like, as you said, Divinity just warmed up and ready to go.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Talonflame pick is one of the better picks in this entire round, and I think it did wonders for the side of Divinity, right? Being able to close in all the gaps, get the squishy Pokemons down so low in the team fights, and I think the combination of the Blissey with it was extremely good as well.
And MJ, how did it feel like watching from the side?
Right. Yeah. I was personally rooting for NSV. Hopefully their morals didn't go low, because we're going to see them battle against Star 9 in the next match. Meanwhile, Rox, can you bring us through the elite table?
All right. It seems like in the elite table right now, we have just seen the first match. So Divinity will be taking that win against NSV, and the next fight, like what MJ has said, will be from NSV versus Star 9. So this will determine what the positioning will be like in this elite of players.
Right. NSV and Star 9, we will go for a break. But let's stay tuned for the next match when we see them play again. What a first match from Divinity and NSV, with Divinity taking the win. Now the next match we're going to be watching is NSV and Star9. But before we get to that, Kate, take us through the knockout stage.
Alrighty, let's take a look at it. But meanwhile, what do you guys think it is? Well, as we see over here in the Elite category, Divinity with 1 win against NSV, as we've seen before. And later on, we'll see if NSV will be able to get another point, or will it be Star9 that gets the point? Let's keep it for later.
Right. So far, we have been seeing the next knockout stage. Rox, can you bring us through? Because we only got to see Renaissance play 1 game yesterday.
Yeah, it would seem in the Master League right now. They have a 1 game win against Kimochi, and we will a 1 match win against Kimochi, and we will be waiting for the matches between Kimochi and Pokeballers later as well.
Right. And the challenge. All right, the challenger has been done already, and this is what we have so far. Kate, can you explain it to us?
Royal Flush with Tenjay Queen King Ace taking the win against Hashira X. I'm sure this must have been interesting to watch. But yes, that's going to be the challenger bracket.
Right. And like what I mentioned, we only saw Star9 play 1 game yesterday, and so it'll be interesting because we've seen NSV so far. We saw 2 games from them. Rox, what do you think is going to be the outcome for this?
Well, I think NSV had a pretty good showing just now in the earlier 2 games that we've seen. And Star9 is also a team that is well known in the scene already. They did very well in the winter tournament. They also have a very good standing in the February finals. And yeah, we will be going into the game straight away.
Well, on the side of NSV, they have banned Lucario and Unfortunate. Dang. But for Star9, they have banned Slowbro and Machamp. Well, I think they know what NSV's Machamp can do, so probably a respect ban from there. But okay, are you seeing what I'm seeing? It's Star9's Blastoise. Will it be the Blastoise strat that we failed to see yesterday?
Well, I think we have seen a lot of in the North American regions at least a Blastoise actually solo top instead of the Lucario. It's actually quite viable. I think you have a lot of skills that can reposition your opponents and do a lot of crowd control even in the early game, and that allows your jungler to come in and potentially take some kills as well.
And recently Blastoise has been buffed as well, with Water Spout during Rapid Spin being much more streamlined, and you can cast it throughout the entire match. But enough talking about that. Let's head on with the first game of this match. NSV against Star9. Now on the top lane, as we said just now, Blastoise from Star9 is going to be going head-to-head against Serena, since there's no more Lucario over here, but never mind about that. Some pressure going on the bot lane, and it's just going to be a difference in the pink Pokemon, Wigglytuff and Blissey.
Yeah, I think Blissey does have a better last hit in the early game, so we do see Star9 playing a little bit more aggressively in this case. But of course, with the Pikachu at bottom lane, they are probably able to apply the pressure on their own as compared to the Venusaur. But the Venusaur does manage to get a kill onto the Gossifleur.
Goodbye, Gossifleur. Okay, but what I'm really interested to see right now is because Star9's jungler, which is the Cinderace, hasn't evolved yet, but he has already rotated to gank this Serena. Why is that so?
I think perhaps you know they saw an opportunity to actually get a kill, but unfortunately that didn't really happen, and so he's gone back to take his core fishes, and he's now back at the top lane just trying to contest for the bees.
Well, I guess as a score bunny you can't really do much, right? But both junglers are going to be looking pretty healthy right now, both already at level 5 with their buffs. So we're probably going to see a little bit more ganks going to be happening. But what about the win conditions of each team though?
I think on the side of Star9, they are going with the very famous combination of the Blissey to Venusaur. So they definitely are looking to play very long, sustained team fights when both of those Pokemon come online. And of course, that only happens in the late game. So NSV side, they need to make sure that this Bulbasaur doesn't get to the Venusaur so soon. They want to make sure that they get the first Dreadnought, deny this Venusaur on the side of Star 9. They want to apply the pressure like what we're seeing now, and they do.
Okay, the cabbage will fall. That poor little toad right there, not being able to get his level 5, so that's Mega Drain for you. Now, as you said, they've kind of crippled that Venusaur just a little bit, so I think this Dreadnought fight is going to be a little bit difficult for Star 9 now, right?
Yes, so I think for the side of NSV with the Pikachu and the Wigglytuff combination, you have a lot of crowd control, you have a lot of AoE damage, and in the early game, they scale very well in the early to mid game, and so I think that is the angle for them to actually make sure that Star 9 doesn't get the Venusaur so soon, and I think they want to capitalize on that and make sure that, you know, in the late game they are able to get the level differences to make sure that the Pikachu is still able to deal a lot of damage into the late game.
And just as we speak about that, we are just 6 seconds away from Dreadnought spawning, and NSV already has their pink frontliner, which is Wigglytuff, down. As he's made his way back, NSV is forced to fight this 4v5 situation as Star 9 has taken the initiative to start this Dreadnought. Now NSV is going to start collapsing on him though, as a Fairy Singularity from NSV comes online, and it's going to Pikachu, who steals the Dreadnought from Star 9. Poor thing, Star 9. But Star 9 isn't going to give up just yet. The Cinderace is going to go in, trying to find those picks. He gets 2, but not before he's going to get slapped, and Dazzling Gleam the way back to base. But NSV already has 3 Pokemon down. Star 9 is still going to continue this advance. But Venusaur over here, Rufus, he's looking so low. He's going to be put to sleep. And just like the Cinderace, Dazzling Gleamed away. Ooh, from NSV, showing the power of the Wigglytuff when used in the right hand.
Yeah, I think we saw a very good decision coming in from Star 9 to actually start the Dreadnought fight. They knew that the Curlia was already level 8, and unfortunately for them, the Gardevoir was online before the Dreadnought fight even began, and with that, NSV had a very dominant positioning with the Wigglytuff in front, just giving the team the vision, right? And also being able to sink so many on the side of Star 9 just allowed them to take the fight so well and get the Dreadnought fight and get even most of the kills for the team fight that happened after.
Oh, this Serena is going to be looking a little bit aggressive though. Already took down the Cinderace, and it's going to be the Wall Turtle that is going to fall as well. Gardevoir a little bit with the burst damage right there. Aerie is forced to run away, but Ice, he tries to escape, but there is no escape from these green Pokemon. The first tier will fall, and NSV looks in a so good position to take this Rotom, and they do just chunk it itself away. 50%, 25%, 0% as Rotom goes to NSV.
I think, you know, Star 9, they have that, they are under leveled as compared to NSV. They shouldn't be trying to defend that goal. They should be trying to farm as much as they can. They don't want to be giving NSV all these kills to change and get the additional level advantages that they already have.
Well, they had such a good early game just now before the Dreadnought spawned, but that flip of a Dreadnought, like you said, it just helped them so much. But the second Dreadnought will spawn though, and this might turn the tables for them, as Venusaur just goes in. The Fairy Singularity doesn't manage to catch anyone. Blastoise is going in with the Rapid Spin and the Water Spout, but doesn't really manage to catch anybody with the damage. But the Hydro Typhoon knocks them up into the air. 2 Pokemon already. Starlit Recital will keep this Wigglytuff alive, but Boundary Barriers are just going to be shoved everywhere. But NSV is looking so dominant in this scuffle. Star 9, 3 Pokemon already down. Dreadnought has disappeared. It is belonging to NSV now, and so did the team fight. They just picked it up away from Star 9.
Did the Gardevoir and NSV side just bait Star 9 in with the Unite move miss? I'm so shocked right now. The Hydro Typhoon from the Blastoise was so well placed. It caught so many on the side of NSV, but the Starlight Recital kept them all alive for the team fight that happened after. And NSV, they will be the ones to get the Dreadnought. They will be the ones to win the team fight.
Well, I mean, just now the Gardevoir with the Fairy Singularity might be a bit sus, but as you said, it might be planned. Well, we take those. If it works, it ain't broke, right? Okay, but Star 9 is looking a bit on the back foot right now in terms of points and EXP. So, what's the comeback for them? What can they do?
I think they should kind of escape from this fight
Okay,
right now.
never. Queenly Majesty, this queen of a pomegranate, just going in, kicking the Cinderace away from this fight. Next will be Blissey though. Pikachu, Pika, go away, he says. And there's gonna be Star 9, both supports down. And NSV is just gonna take this Rotom yet again. Deja vu, it seems.
Yeah, this role perhaps not so important for Star9. They won't be contesting it. They just need to kind of defend it, make sure that Venusaur has enough space to actually be farming for his level 13. He's level 12 already, and we will probably see a level 13 Venusaur at the Zapdos pit later for the Zapdos fight. And I think this is where they can come back in, right? It all comes down to the fight at Zapdos, and they need this level 13 Venusaur in order for them to actually stand a fighting chance against NSV.
As we say, welcome to Zapdos Unite. Whoever flips the last electric bird might have a chance at winning. Well, two objectives are going to spawn soon though, namely the Dreadnought and the Zapdos, but Star9 is going to take advantage of the absence of NSV on the top lane to score those goals that they so desperately need. The Dreadnought will spawn, and NSV seems to be taking a position but not really wanting to start it. Well,
Yeah,
what's going to be the game plan?
Well, looking at the levels, NSV don't really need the Dreadnought. They probably just wanted to defend from it, but Star9 wasn't interested to contest it either. And instead, both teams will be trying to get a dominant positioning into the Zapdos pit right now. And it seems that NSV are already positioned for it, while Star9 is finding an angle to get into this pit.
Well, NSV already occupying the middle area, while Star9 is just gonna go win. The water spouts from Blastoise dealing so much damage, but the Fairy Singularity doesn't manage to get. More body barriers are happening. Cotton Cloud Crash from this Elder Gods trying to keep them alive, but Venusaur finds a pick on Pikachu and finds a pick on Gardevoir. That's their jungler down. That's the main source of damage that's being taken away. 3 Pokemon down on the side of NSV. Just 2 Pokemon remain, and one of them is going to be scoring a goal. So that's only going to be Serena who is going to contest this Zapdos from Star9. Star9 already has 4 Pokemon on this area, and it's not going to be a steal. It's just going to be a take for Star9 for the Zapdos. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a one-way ticket to Dunk City, as both sides are just going to try to put in as many points as they can. 100 from Star9, but it's going to be a base race though, as Serena also pops in 100 of her own, but it's not going to be enough. Star9 is just going to be putting in another 100 in the middle zone. NSV just shy of 100 points away, but never mind, that lead is just going to be extended as Star9 manages to put in just a little bit more goals.
And then he tries to go for another dunk, but it's not gonna happen.
I think he's dead. Yep, he's gone. A Gardevoir against a water spout Blastoise, like there ain't much con.
But it seems like the game is not yet over. It seems like NSV is going to try for the last dunk. They just need about like around 200 points. It's going to be a little bit hard.
Yeah,
for
just
them to actually get this in.
Just 183 points, like
yeah.
If they have it, quick math. But will they be able to get it in though? That's going to be the next question. Starly Recital giving them the body barriers, and it's going to be the score shield that manages to put in some points. But will it be enough though? They're just going to be trying so desperately to put in the points, but I don't think it's enough. 3 Pokemon are falling, and while Star9 is just going to be trying to put in goals of their own. Let's see the scoreboard. Please, let us see what's going to happen. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? It's Star9 who takes the victory of this game. Game 1 of this match going to Star9.
I think once again, this is a pretty close match, I would say. NSV, they definitely show that, they are not a team to give up, even though they have lost the Zapdos fight. They did try to come back in, but unfortunately, they just didn't have enough Eos energy to kind of dunk in to the goal to get enough points in. And I think we also need to stand back a little bit and look at the Zapdos fight again. I think it was actually done so well from the side of Star9. They were kind of losing until from the early to mid game, but with the Venusaur at level 13, NSV just couldn't find an angle to actually clear the side of Star9. Not to mention they were a little bit too split up in that team fight. I think they do have NSV has a really strong team composition right here, but unfortunately for them, they just were not kind of positioned themselves well enough to disengage, engage again into the team fight, and because of that, they all kind of went down, and Star9 was able to take the Zapdos without much contest afterwards.
And like you said, it was just slightly unfortunate that the Fairy Singularity from wasn't able to catch anybody, or maybe if it did, the safeguard from Blissey just allowed them to walk away. And while that happened, everybody just dropped in their body barriers, just kept that Blastoise and that Venusaur alive, while Yihao just looked for picks to just kick them out of the match. And that was just game for them. That was Zapdos. They had no contest. The only Pokemon that was left alive at that point was Serena. And what can you do with Serena without your Unite? You can't 1v4. You can't 1v4.
You can 1v the Zapdos either.
Yeah. Like, it's the Electric Bird. Like we said, welcome to Zapdos Unite. The one to take the Zapdos might win. Might. Not 100%, but close. It's
Yeah,
close.
from my perspective, actually, the lead wasn't so obvious until the last few seconds, and that's why Cake was saying, what is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? Because we
Yeah.
couldn't see who was making the score and who was fighting. It was very intense, but obviously we saw Star 9 take the win yesterday against Renaissance, and NSV here actually put up such a good fight in the beginning. Rox, what do you think? Do you think we're gonna have a third game, or what are
I
your
think
thoughts?
it really depends, right? The games are all so close today, and honestly, I can't tell right now. But we will see as we look into the team compositions that they come up with for the second game.
And from the admin side, we can see that both teams have banned the same Pokemon, which means we're not going to see a Lucario, we're not going to see a Hoopa again, unfortunately. We're not going to see a Slowbro, and we're not going to see the Machamp.
Yep.
So
and,
will this probably see a change in team composition on the side of NSV?
well, I think Star 9 has a very strong team composition with the Blissey and Venusaur, and the Slowbro ban is actually such a good pick for them. You know, Slowbro is probably the best counter that is to the Blissey Venusaur combination right now, and I think that we saw how NSV with the Pikachu Wigglytuff do so much in the early to mid game, but just unable to bring this beast of Toad down, right? So I think maybe they just want to do a mirror kind of matchup with their own kind of Venusaur on their side, or maybe find. Honestly, I think the Gardevoir pick is working so well for them. They just need to make sure that they land the Fairy Singularity well enough, catch 2 or 3 like we saw in the first Dreadnought fight consistently in maybe more of the objectives, and we might see them actually get the team form working for them.
And okay, I just want to ask you guys, do you think Bulbasaur looks like a cabbage? Honestly, do you think Bulbasaur looks like a cabbage?
I don't know. Does he?
Cabbage boy.
Right, he's a cabbage, right? Bulbasaur
He's-
gang, do not come after me.
He's
Don't
my
come after me.
favorite Pokemon.
Right, yeah,
Oh.
it's a cabbage. It's a grass type. It has a bulb on the back, therefore cabbage. And this cabbage, like, you know, a cabbage in real life is healthy and is good for your health. So a Venusaur on your team will also be good for your health and will be able to, you know, carry you to victory if you give him the correct support, which was what we saw with S9 just now. The Elder Goss and the Blissey just giving the cabbage so much support that he needs in order to keep his team healthy and keep them alive and winning.
Well, what
that-
about
as-
you, Cake? Do you foresee any changes in NSV's strategy now that they've seen Star 9 take the lead in the very end, last few seconds?
NSV, honestly, I think they might change it up a little bit, but they were so dominant in the game just right up till their Zapdos fight. So, I mean, it's a situation of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because honestly, it wasn't broke. We saw the Wigglytuff just go in, like, Venusaur, sleep, Dazzling Gleam, and then gone. Oh, I see a Cinderace, sleep, Dazzling Gleam, and gone. So, probably we might see it again, but Rox, your favorite
Oh.
Pokemon. It's your favorite Pokemon.
Oh, is Solo actually going to play
It's
the
your
Garchomp?
favorite Pokemon. Everybody who watches Rock streams knows how much it's her favorite Pokemon. No denying about that.
Well,
But yeah.
honestly, right now, I don't think it's that bad an option to actually go for Garchomp. Garchomp does scale in late, but it doesn't scale as late as it used to, and it does deal a lot of damage. But of course, it doesn't have that kind of range that a Cinderace has, like what we saw just now. So they have to be a bit more careful if they are going to bring in this Garchomp.
And NSV isn't the one is going to change the team composition, but it's going to be S9 actually. They're really bringing in the Garchomp, and you're going to be bringing a familiar Pokemon that we haven't seen for a while, Dragonite. Now with the recent, not so recent nerfs of his Hyper Beam, we haven't been seeing this beast of a dragon like very often now. But now we got 2 Dragon type Pokemon on the side of Star 9. Really interesting.
Yeah, I think
Star 9 is willing to take a risk for this game, and we're going straight to the game. Rox, take it away.
Hi. So I think this Garchomp and this Dragonite pick is actually quite interesting because the Garchomp is, like what we say, right? It's a melee Pokemon. So you kind of need that kind of range and objective sniping abilities from the Dragonite to kind of balance it out a little bit right there. So Star Knight, maybe they're just kind of trying a different team composition, preparing for like some of the Worlds tournament that will be coming up soon as well. So we will see if this team composition is something that will work out against NSV's very, I think, squishy kind of Pokemon lineup, and also one that doesn't scale as well into the late game.
Well, you've mentioned the Dragonite does bring in like a little bit of a balance with the Hyper Beam, correct? But lately, I've been seeing some outraged Dragonites. Now, what do you feel about that?
I think Outrage actually has a lot more damage potential as compared to the Hyper Beam, and we will see, right, if that is actually what we will be they will actually be using in this match. But I think in this case, I would definitely be going for the Hyper Beam because they don't really have an objective secure on the side of Star Knight.
So like yesterday, you remember when we bet whether the take Solar Beam or Petal Dance? Let's do the same thing. I say he'll take. I say he'll take Outrage.
Okay, we will see. We will see.
Yes,
we'll
we
let
will
the
see,
players
we will
decide,
see.
and we will see how it goes in this game. Okay.
Yeah, but
Now I think.
Meanwhile, nothing's happening, right? It's just like, you know, the same old, just three people on the bottom just putting the pressure again. And it's the same two different pink blobs. Ice Destiny on the Blissey and the Wigglytuff on the side of NSB.
Yep, I think Blissey is a very good pick with the Garchomp later in the game, because Garchomp, once you use your Unite move, you're going to be targeted by every single team member on the side of NSV, and Blissey's Unite move would just give it that much sustain for it to come into the fight and actually do what it needs to do to split the team up and do as much damage as possible as well.
And right now we're just 50 seconds away from this Dreadnought fight. So will what you say happen? Like the Blissey is just giving that Garchomp the sustain he needs. Oh wait, never mind, he's gone. He just lost that top lane, but Dragonite Ihao is just gonna come in with a little bit of a save right there, just barely forcing Earth to back out before he can score any goals. And this Curlia, we saw how much damage the Curlia could have done just now. So, alright, just let's go back again. What is Star9's win condition now?
Well, I think they definitely want to get the Dragonite up first before the first Dreadnought fight happens, because then you have that kind of objective secure like we were talking about earlier, right? And compared to the Curlia that evolves to Gardevoir at level 9, you can get it earlier at level 8. You can get the Dragonite earlier at level 8 and has a lot more kind of objective sniping ability. So this will kind of help them get the lead that they need to get Garchomp online.
And we'll be seeing that right now, the Dragonite versus the Curlia. Who will be the one to steal Dreadnought? Like you said, it's gonna be the Dragonite. The early objective secure really came in handy for Star9, as they're just gonna secure the rest of NSV. They have to run away, 2 Pokemon fall, and the next thing that will fall will be this first tier goal zone, just like you said.
Yep, and now look at Solo. He's going to reach his level 9 soon. That means we're going to see a Garchomp really soon, before even the first Rotom is actually being taken.
Well, Garchomp, as we all know, is a really big late game beast. So prepare yourselves, audience, for some amazing Garchomp plays. Just right now, we can see Garchomp is already invading the jungle of this Curlia, not giving him any space to farm. Okay, this top tier goal zone is going to be attempting to go down though. And okay, off the screen, Garchomp takes down the Curlia. Curlia ain't going to be evolving anytime soon. And that's all before the first Rotom has been taken. Sun has been eliminated from this match. Garchomp doing so much damage. Will Wu be the next to fall? He gets a Citrus Berry, but will it be enough? Okay, you won the bet. That's going to be a Hyper Bee coming out from Ihao. And Wu is just trying so desperately to defend this goal zone, putting them to sleep. But he's going to fall to the Hyper Bee eventually, and the top tier goal will go down.
Yep, I think, you know the Garchomp, once it became a Garchomp, it knew that it was time for him to kind of invade the jungle, make sure that the Curlia doesn't become the Gardevoir that I guess Star9 is a bit wary of. And by doing that, you get the level advantage. Look at the Garchomp right now. It's level Gardevoir that's level 9.
Well, he's definitely decimating the enemy jungler right there. As you look at the damage, just 2 hits from a basic attack, already just chunking off roughly 25% of the Gardevoir's health. This Garchomp is looking to be a beast. Gardevoir just trying to poke him away, but Solo is just gonna happily invade the jungle and just take it all for himself. This bottom tier goal is going to be looking to be... Okay, never mind, they've all retreated. But the next thing that's going to spawn though is this Dreadnought.
Yep, and I think NSV knows that they can't contest this at all. They will be finding EXP around the map instead. Get some dunks in, get the farm in the middle, maybe go into the enemy jungle if they're feeling very risky. And this is probably the angle in, right? They need to make sure that they get the levels that they need right now. But it seems like Star9's not giving them the space.
Okay, investing all the Unite moves on that second goal zone. We saw so many body barriers being popped. Starlit Recital from keeping the team of NSV alive as a Fairy Singularity catches 2, but it's not enough. The safeguard just keeping this Dragonite away from the Fairy Singularity. But Airi will get slapped and he will fall to this Gardevoir, but will fall to Ihao as he just shoots and shoots and shoots. Will this be a Hyper Beam coming up? Nope, he doesn't need it. Gardevoir will fall as the Serena San, she's coming in. But will it be enough though? Ihao with the heal from the boosted attack, but Sun eventually manages to kick this Dragonite back to base.
Yep, some comeback EXP from NSV right there, but it seems like Solo, he's just so disrespectful of the side of NSV. He's just going into the jungle time and time again, just not giving them the space, not giving them the farm that they need to get into this game at this 3.3-minute mark.
Yeah, just letting the really tough survive with just that little bit of health. Maybe he Dragon Dived the wrong direction, but maybe it was on purpose, maybe it was planned. Maybe it was planned, but it doesn't matter as is just gonna fall anyway to Solo. It might have happened earlier or later, but it happened anyway. And this just gonna be soloing the Rotom with the help of Pikachu. Not really a solo anymore, but it doesn't matter as Rotom will still fall to Star9.
Yeah, definitely a very strong performance from Star9 so far. I think NSV, they need to get the Gardevoir to level 13, get the Serena to level 13 for the Zapdos fight, and I think that they will have a better chance to take the team fight at Star9 or even flip the Zapdos.
And now while the last Dreadnought is about to spawn, Rocks, what can NSV do to come back from this dreadful situation?
They need to, like I said, they need to kind of get the Serena up to level 13, get the Gardevoir up to level 13, but I think it's going to be very hard for them. Look at the team comps entirely. Look at the team comps. We have the Garchomp, we have the Dragonite, all stage 3 Pokemons that have their levels ready up, and they are really positioning into the Zapdos bit. Gardevoir is so squishy. Serena is a single target kind of Pokemon, and they don't really have that kind of lockdown as much as if they had a slow roll. And it's going to be very hard for them to actually find an angle in.
Star9's already occupying the middle area like how NSV previously, so you're just kind of turning the tables on them. But will NSV be able to do what Star9 did previously and steal the Zapdos? We shall see, as Star9 is going to be starting the Zapdos immediately. Wow, what a break! NSV has no choice, they have to come in right now. Will they be able to come in time though? Cotton Cloud Crash does crash the Zapdos away from NSV. Now Garchomp is being forced to use his Unite move in order to clear them out though, as it's gonna be a one-way ticket to Dunk City. You've never seen as many dunks like this before as compared to the NBA. Wigglytuff and this Eldegoss is just gonna put in dunks after dunks, but Star9 is gonna respond with dunks of their own. The score difference isn't too far away. They still can win this fight. They can still come back. How did this happen?
I think Star9, they were so confident with getting the Zapdos, but as we all know, right, it's so easy to flip Zapdos as well. Just, I think a little bit of luck on the side of NSV to actually get into the fight right there, get the Zapdos from Star9, but the scores are now so close, and I think both teams will be trying to farm around the entire map, go for one last push, and we will see whether or not it is Star9 or NSV who will get the last laugh.
But look at Airi, the hero of NSV, giving them a fighting chance to stay back into the game. But there's still 45 seconds until the game is over. Star9 still has the ability for one more push. If they're able to activate all the body barriers and the score shields, they can just close this gap of just 26 points. Anybody can score this, and everybody from Star9 is already congregating on this top goal. NSV has to defend this, but this Wigglytuff is looking for a little bit of a backdoor. I don't think it's going to be happening though, as just everybody from Star9 is trying so desperately to score this. NSV is falling like flies. 2 Pokemon already down. Will it be 3? It will be the goal zone that goes down. The score shield. It's going to be the score shield that nets them 100. NSV pops in the 48, but I don't think it's enough to secure them the lead. Gardevoir will fall again, and will they be able to score any additional points? Yes, they will. Star9 They may have lost the Zapdos, but they just countered with dunks of their own. Welcome to Zapdos Unite. I beg to differ. You may have taken the Zapdos NSV, but Star9 takes the eventual victory.
Yeah, this game is definitely not just about who gets the Zapdos. I think Star9 had such a dominant lead early into the game. Even when NSV managed to get the Zapdos, they weren't able to dunk as much. And not to mention, at the last push, they should have just given off the goal and went for the goals themselves. Instead, they all kind of died at the top lane goal, and because of that, Star9 just was able to dunk even more and more. And with that, they just won the second game.
I like the MVP rating number on ice. Look at that number. It's the funny number. Nice. Okay, but other than that, okay, Crow just put in such a beautiful performance right there, like ensuring that the team just stays alive. And the Cotton Cloud Crash, wow. I may have saw the name wrongly just now. I thought Aerie was stole it, but in fact it was Crow. The Cotton Cloud Crash was just beautiful. And it's not really something that anybody expects. Like, you don't expect the support to just like fly in and just like, hey, Zapdos, okay, mine. But that's exactly what he did. He just like pocketed the Zapdos, but as you say, it was just probably a difference in strategy that managed to net Star9 the win. And this is why, my friends, Score Shield is still relevant.
Well, I think honestly at the Zapdos fight, Star9 did try it very well, in fact, to actually zone out the side of NSV while they were doing the entirety of the Zap fight. But I mean, yeah, like what you said, right? Pro with the Unite move coming in on that Elder Gods, just coming in, doesn't care about any zoning that's happening by caused by Star9. Just goes in there, pops itself down, and ta-da! Zapdos is ours. I think that Star9 definitely had the shock of their lives right there, but they did manage to keep themselves level-headed and came back into the game with the last final push.
I mean, this is probably why they managed to make their way into the winter tournament, right? Level-headed decision-making even in the face of unexpected events. That is the mark of a good team.
Yep, and
right. I was at the edge of my seat. I had goosebumps, like what you said, Star9 was leading and NSV had a sudden spike towards the end. And then we had the last few seconds where everyone is getting their points. I was mind blown. And it seems like Star9's change in strategy really paid off. So, Cake, why don't you bring us through the elite table and let's see what Star9's win meant.
All right, let's take a look at it. We saw Divinity with a win against NSV, so that's going to be one win under the belt. And Star9, as we saw just now, took the match from NSV yet again. So that's going to be one win for Divinity and Star9, while NSV sits at 2 losses.
Right, NSV really put up a good play, and Divinity had a break. But now we will see Star9 and Divinity versus each other. They've both won their respective matches so far. Rox, what do you think is gonna happen?
Well, I think these two teams are definitely well known in the Pokemon Unite Singapore community, and not just Singapore but overseas as well. These two teams have been in the limelight many times before, and we are definitely going to expect really extremely good gameplays from both teams.
Right, speaking of Pokemon Unite community, Cake and Rox, you both are part of the Pokemon Unite Singapore community. So you guys, they're our official partners. You guys can head on to facebook.com and join them in facebook.com/PokeUniteSG/ and of course, if you think you want to compete in the qualifiers, join us and go to the Lion City League socials for a chance to win a Prism Plus monitor, because everyone who sign up can win one. And yeah, that was such a good play from NSV. We were at the edge of our seats. But next we will see the two winners, Divinity and Star9, battle it out. Let's see it after the break. Welcome back, trainers, and we are here to unite one final time for the last match of today's qualifiers. Qualifier number one, and that is Divinity and Star 9, whom we have seen have have their respective wins in their own matches. All right, and we just saw the battle between Star 9 and NSV in the
Yes.
previous match. Cake, why don't you bring us through what we have so far in this qualifier number one?
All right, as we have seen just now, Divinity one win under the belt after fighting NSV respectively, while NSV sits at 2 losses. The next match between Divinity and Star 9 will see who will be the first one to take their first loss.
Right, and Rox, why don't you take us to the next one?
Oh, okay. So the next game that we are going to see will be again between Divinity and Star 9. Both, once again, very respectable teams, very well known in the community, both locally and internationally as well. So we are definitely going to see very interesting plays. I think Star 9 did show us a little bit more variety in the team compositions that they have played with just now, and I think we can expect more interesting choices as what we have seen seen earlier. And
Right.
in this case, the bands that Divinity and Star 9 have selected are the Blastoise, the Slowbro, Lucario, and Talonflame. So perhaps we might be seeing that menacing little Toad a little bit more again.
Right, and Divinity managed to take one match as a break time. Cake, we've seen them played separately against NSV. What are your takes for this coming match?
Well, Divinity Community Global Standing number 1. S9 Finals of the Winter Tournament. These two teams are by no doubt really, really strong teams. And they each have their own unique strategies that they have and their own strengths and weaknesses. So I think we are probably going to see the clash of the titans. Previously it was David versus Goliath, and now it's just going to be Goliath versus Goliath. So who will be the better Goliath? I'm all down to find out. I just want to see.
Yeah, we keep talking about, the big names here in Pokemon Unite, but let's not forget that Lions City League is all about anyone winning and taking this, because just for today, we will have $600 on the line for our prize pool, and everyone will have a share of this pie. So if you think you can win, or you just want that experience, why don't you head on over to Lions City League and sign up for the next few qualifiers on April and on May. And of course, anyone who register will have a chance to win a Prism Plus 27-inch Full HD gaming monitor, because these are our partners. And this is such a exciting project to be part of. Cake and Rox, they're both part of the Pokemon Unite community here in Singapore. Rox, what can you say about the matches that happens on your stream? Is it very different from what we're seeing so far?
On my stream specifically, we do a lot of ranked games as well. So we do play with some of the players from Star 9, Divinity, and even NSV as well. So I think it is quite similar, but of course there isn't as much stake, I would say, because right now we are kind of going into the grand finals of the Lion City League right now, and it will be between Divinity as well as Star 9, both very strong teams as we have seen earlier. And yeah, I think it'd be extremely exciting.
Right. And Cake, for Divinity versus Star 9, do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite, but if I were to put my money on a team, I would lean slightly towards Divinity. Because I guess it's just gut feeling.
Gut feeling, okay.
Right.
I really don't know how to explain it. It's just gut feeling.
All right. I guess we will see what will happen for this next match. But so far, we have seen their Pokemon choices in the previous matches. It's going to be different now because it's not against NSV. Rox, do you have any predictions on who they might pick, or is it going to be different?
I think we will probably see the Venusaur on both teams, or if not, like the Wiggly Pikachu combination as well. But I think the Venusaur has been one of the strongest picks that we have seen, especially in the Southeast Asian servers, and I think it's definitely going to make its appearance again.
Right. And of course, Cakes, take is Hoopa. Do you see one here, Kay?
Koopa! Yes! Oh my god, finally it's not banned. And Divinity and Star Knight are just gonna pick it up. Hoopa time. It is Hoopa time. Rings unbound. Everybody just gonna be teleporting all over the place. And Solo on that Garchomp yet again.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh.
So yeah, we will be seeing. It does seem like we will be seeing the Venusaur on the side of Divinity, and once again with the Blissey combination as well. So we will see whether or not this Garchomp Gardevoir combination with the Hoopa as well will be the answer to the sustained fighter Venusaur and Blissey combination.
Well, we have not had any third matches, but maybe we could see it here in Divinity versus Star 9, the final match for qualifier number 1. Woo!
Excites.
All right. Let's
Yeah,
get
two-
into the game.
Yeah, two Hoopas fighting against each other. Which team will come out on top? Let's find out as we hop into the first game of this final match.
Okay, looking at the team composition, I think Divinity is going with the Absol at top lane. They are both going to go for the 1-1-3 combination, and I think Absol is a pretty good pick for the side of Divinity because, like we have always said, right, Venusaur is a very late game scaling Pokemon, and Absol is an early to mid game scaling Pokemon. So with that, you can have a little bit more balance. You have someone to manage the early to mid game. You have someone to kind of deal a lot of damage into the late game, and I think it's a very strong team composition.
Over here right now, Divinity putting the pressure onto Star 9, the Blissey, the little Blissey over there, looking so low, and he's forced to retreat and eat that Citrus Berry. Now both sides actually have the Gardevoir on the jungle, so who's probably going to jungle faster? I think it's going to be Jespy, it seems. He's going to be reaching level 5. Oh, okay, never mind, both is reaching level 5 actually.
Yep, and I think both teams should definitely be looking for the kill at top lane. It seems that Solo, Ihao is really helping him with that.
Oh, Absol will fall. The poor thing just overextending a little bit too much, and Ihao finding that opportunity to just remove the Absol from the equation.
Yeah, and I think Absol needs to be very careful because Absol, it's good in the early to mid game, but it needs the level advantage for it to actually do extremely well, especially against melee Pokemon such as like the Garchomp or even the very squishy ones like the Curlier still at top. But
Now,
until we get to level 5, it's not going to be of much help.
Yeah, now just looking at this, KSC is still this cabbage, so I don't think there's going to be any impactful plays from Divinity coming anytime soon. But Star 9 though, they managed to get rid of their healer. Blissey is going to go down. This hyperspace hole will save KST and give his health back, while Star 9 is just gonna do the exact same thing. These hyperspace holes really helping their rotations and their sustain so much.
Yep, I think we've talked about the team compositions on the side of Divinity, but on the side of Star 9 with the Pikachu, also something that scales early to mid game, has a lot of last hit potential, especially in the laning phase right now. And we see them stomping the side of Divinity with the range coming in from Hoopa as well as the Pikachu, and they're just able to get so much more farm.
Now, I guess we've seen like some similarities in both team compositions, but what's going to be the real win condition for both sides actually?
Well, I think both team compositions are quite late game scaling with the Venusaur, with the Garchomp. It really is about how they take the team fights, as we have seen. And the early rotation coming in from the Curlier from Star 9 actually helped them to kind of increase the level gap even before the first Dreadnought even spawns.
And speaking about the first Dreadnought, just 16 seconds till it comes online. Solo over here looking so low. He's chucked away by these two Pokemon, but Star 9 is going to be taking up an offensive stage onto this Dreadnought, but Divinity is sending all 5 of their Pokemon to take this little turtle, and Star 9 is going to do the same. We're going to see our first 5v5 clash in this game as everybody is competing for this Dreadnought. Absol just goes in trying to find a pick, but Solo is just dealing so much damage, and it's going to be the Curlier on the side of Divinity that manages to land this last hit. Fairy Singularity trying to catch those little Pokemon off guard, but it's just not going to be enough as they're going to be able to run away with the tails between his legs. But Hoopa will get caught and Hoopa will fall, but I think that's just the only casualty that Star 9 has.
Yep, I think, Divinity and Star 9, they don't really have that much objective secure. It really comes down to which Gardevoir is able to land the hit first. And it just happened to go to the side of Divinity, and now they do have a little bit of a level advantage. Unfortunately, there wasn't much of a team fight that happened after, so it's it's still quite balanced, I would say.
Divinity with the EXP advantage, like you said. I think they're poised to take this Rotom, but no, it will not be. Star9 will be the one to do the upset and take the Rotom for themselves. But Divinity just responds like, you know what? You can have it. You'll just destroy it. And Rotom is already looking to be so low. As the other person who's low is Dev though, as he just takes the full brunt of the damage from Star9. Sana is left alone to defend this top tier goal by himself, but Dev just comes back to give him a little bit of an assistance. So Star9 has taken the Rotom, Divinity has taken the Dreadnought. What could be the implications for coming into this game now?
Well, now I think they are waiting. Look at the map. They have actually cleared up all the farm as well. So there's nothing much that they're actually going to do. Oh, that's
okay.
They're actually going to take a team fight instead.
Yeah, the Dragon Outreach coming out from solo, but it's not going to be enough though. He's not able to do enough damage. And he will fall just to his overextension. Divinity saw the opportunity to take out this lone Garchomp, and they took it with ease. Garchomp will fall, and there's going to be a little bit of EXP, a little more EXP in fact, going to the side of Divinity. But look at the scores, 0 to 102.
Well, I mean, now Divinity is actually trying to get some dunks in themselves. And while we're doing this, you look at the Unaimu coming in from Pupa once again, getting ready for the Dreadnought fight.
Pupa sending everybody from Divinity down to this Dreadnought, while Star9 is just waiting for a chance to go in. Fairy Singularity being popped from Star9, but will it be enough though? Yes, it will! Star9 nets the Dreadnought away from Divinity, giving them a taste of their own medicine as Divinity is forced to retreat. Another Fairy Singularity comes out from Divinity, but it doesn't catch anybody. Ihao will fall though, as he's the only Pokemon not to return to base. But Aerie will pop a Rings Unbound of her own, and there's going to be Divinity losing 2 Pokemon, as we see right here. They won the Dreadnought and they won another team fight. I think there's going to be more EXP going to Star9.
Yep, I mean, looking at the level differences now, Pupa, Garchomp as well as Gardevoir is at level 11 compared to the side of Divinity, where, okay, I guess the Venusaur does got its level 11, but in terms of being able to take the team fight, in terms of the objective, it is definitely to the benefit of Star9 right now.
Yeah, it's not looking really good for Divinity. They're not really winning in terms of levels or points. But, you know, we've seen some comebacks from Divinity. Will we see it again? Time will only tell as we tick closer and closer to the end game. Now, Star9 is going to be looking to try to pop this bottom tier goal, but Divinity sees that the Pokemon are coming in and pops the Hyperspace Hole to allow for a rotation, and Star9 is just forced to back off. Now, coming into the late game, what could be the possible win conditions for Divinity now to come back?
Well, Divinity needs to get its... this is maybe what they actually need, right? To get all the potentially get the kills onto the side of Star9, but it seems like Star9 will be able to regroup and maybe take this fight back to the side of Divinity. Yeah. But what Divinity needs to do otherwise is to actually take the farm around the entire map. Make sure that the Venusaur once again is level 13, and they will once again be able to sustain most of the fight, like what we have seen in the earlier matches.
4 Pokemon from Star9 tried to go down to take this bottom tier tower, but they know that they can't win that fight and they're forced to retreat, but not before taking a Blissey. But Wraith up here, sneaky dunk of 40 points onto this top tier goal, opening the way for a possible dunk. Now, while all this is happening, Star9 is just happily feasting on the Dreadnought below, taking it for themselves, giving them even more EXP and shields. And while all that was happening, Wraith just picked up the Pikachu from Star9 and sent him back to the trainer. 13 seconds until Zapdos spawns. What are you going to be looking out for, Rox?
Well, the Venusaur is now level 13, and both teams are really positioning themselves into Zapdos split. It really depends on who manages to engage first and get the attackers down on the other side. It looks like KST is going in.
Okay. Divinity is just starting that Zapdos, but Star9 is responding in kind. Hyperspace Hole will send KST back, making him a healthy cabbage yet again. But Star9 is going to commit to this as their body barriers are going to go down. Unites are being popped everywhere. Both teams are really committing to this fight, but Divinity will be looking like the ones who's going to be losing all their HP. Star9 with solo on the Garchomp dealing so much damage. Pupa will fall. Divinity loses 3 Pokemon. KST with the Giga Drain and the Pedal Dance trying to keep himself alive, but it's not going to be enough. Absol will be looking for some picks on the back, but Divinity will fall. Star9 picks off every single one of them, and the Zapdos will be the one that gets picked up as well. They're going to be rushing for the goals now. They have so many points to score. This is going to be lead, just increasing the gold lead that Star9 has over Divinity. The top lane is going to go down, middle lane is going to have some goals being popped in, and the bot lane will have some goals as well. That goal lead is just going to keep extending and extending with no chance of comeback for Divinity.
Yeah, look at that team fight just now. The Venusaur with the level 13 was able to be sustained all the way to the end, but without his teammate, he's just not going to be able to do much. And because of that, Star9 wipes out Team Divinity, gets all the dunks in, and now just slowly goes back to defend their own bases.
Oh, but look at Ice though. He knows that Divinity is just busy trying to score, and he's gonna score the sneaky dunk off his own. Will he make it though? I think there's no question about that. That's 100 points free for Star9, while Divinity is just trying their best to score as much as they can. But Blissey is just going to town on that goal zone. I don't think there's any chance for Divinity to come back. They don't really have enough. They don't have the score shields in order for them to score even more. The timer is just going to count down to their eventual demise as Star9 looks so dominant in this game, taking this match away from Divinity. The score of 1-0 in favor of Star9.
Star9 definitely took that fight extremely well. Blissey immediately united the Garchomp, and Garchomp immediately responded with its own Unite move, splitting up Divinity so much all across the entire Zapdos pit, and Star9 was able to pick them off one by one in that Zapdos pit, and they just came in so well with that team fight. Garchomp actually being one of the interesting picks that actually works against this Blissey and Venusaur.
Yeah, G no longer stands for garbage. G stands for great. And I think just supporting the Garchomp with whatever resources they have really managed to net them that win. Divinity may have had a stronger early game, but in the end, it was Star9 who came out on top.
Yeah, and I think now we will be going to the second round, right? So Divinity will definitely need to kind of respond to the team composition on Star9's side. I think Star9 has done so well with this team composition right now, and Divinity really needs to find a solution to this. I think the Absol pick, it's a supposedly good pick against the Gardevoir, but it's also a very squishy Pokemon in itself. It's not really able to respond to the Garchomps and the Pikachu that is able to kind of get it low before it can even do as much damage as it wants.
And you know what? I think we might see a game 3 this time. Like, Divinity did show promise, but in the end, Star9 did manage to take the match. But I don't think Divinity isn't going to give up the second game without a fight. So I am going to think that Divinity will win the second game, and then we'll be able to see a game 3. At least that's what I hope.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that we will see 2 more extremely good matches, but we will see what Divinity will come up with to actually respond to this team composition onto the side of S9.
Right. It looks like S9 didn't need a break, but at the end of the day, even though their lead is so big, it's just a 1-0. So like what Cake said, we could be possibly seeing a match 3 for this round. Divinity is not new to this game. They can respond based on what they played in the first game. Rox, do you have any predictions if there's any changes in their composition?
Well, I definitely think the Absol is something that I would change out. It doesn't seem to be that good in the early game laning phase. Apparently, unless it's able to get the kills, it's not going to do that much. So maybe something that can have more sustain and is able to maybe help the team kind of initiate in the team fights would be something that I would probably go for.
Right. And Cake, do you agree with this? I mean, you're so happy to see your Hoopa. Do you think there's gonna be changes?
Well, for one, the bans aren't out yet, but I think probably the Hoopa might get banned. I don't know, I'm just speculating. I really hope it doesn't get banned. But definitely we might see some changes from Divinity in order to respond to S9. But as we saw just now, S9, although they won the first match against No Survivors, they actually changed up their composition to give them something new to challenge. So S9 might change up the composition again as well, even though they won this first match. So there's really no telling what's going to happen in the next game that's about to follow.
Right, and that's true. Like what you said. Wait, I can't remember. Who did you say was gonna win in the beginning? Your money was on who?
Yeah, my money was on Divinity, but Star9 did take the first game. But it's not over. It's a best of 3. It's a best of 3. I still have my money. It's not much, but I still have it.
Rox, after watching this first game, what about you? Do you have any guesses who might win this?
Well, personally, I do play a little bit more with Star 9 as well, and I feel like they have a very consistent lineup. They play a lot of games together, and I feel like they have the kind of attitude to kind of bring these games in.
Yeah, we just got the bans for the respective teams. Kate, can you take us
Ooh.
through the bans?
Yep, it's the same thing. Divinity banning the Blastoise and the Slowbro, while S9 will be banning the Lucario and the Talonflame. So that's just going to be some Pokemons that we're not seeing again, which means Hoopa appears yet again!
Yeah.
Not just the Hoopa, but the Garchomp seems to be making an appearance on the side of Divinity as well.
Oh, that's something you wouldn't expect though, but it's gonna be a Garchomp against a Garchomp, solo versus Dev. The battle of the Garchomps, their items are all different. Will it make a difference? I guess we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. Oh, it does seem that Divinity will still be bringing in the app, so I think they might find an angle with it. Oh no, Solo is actually going to go for something else. So it does seem that Star 9 and Divinity will both have a change in the team compositions this time. I think Absol will be a good pick against the Pikachu. Maybe Gardevoir if it can bridge the gap, but we will see.
Yeah, the Garchomp has been transferred from Star 9 to Divinity. Will Divinity be able to pull off the magic of the Garchomp that Star 9 did? I really hope that happens. Garchomp needs more love. As we said, G, no longer garbage. G means great. Garchomp has been buffed. So G, okay, I'm just going to repeat this again. G does not mean garbage. So if you see a Garchomp on your team, don't throw the game. You may see what S9 did. Garchomp may be the one that will carry the game.
Right, and with both teams changing composition, it could be anyone's game right now, and it's like watching a new game all over. Rox, take it away.
Well, once again, we are looking at a change in team composition, and not just a change in team composition, but we are actually seeing a solo Bulbasaur top from the side of Star 9. This is quite interesting because Bulbasaur doesn't have that kind of last hit potential as compared to a lot of Pokemon, but I guess sending it up alone means that it might get the Venusaur earlier. But we will see if this actually works out for the side of Star 9.
A top lane Bulbasaur against a bottom lane Bulbasaur. This little difference in laning might see a difference, like as you said, in the progression of levels, but Dev just looks to be so dominant against this Cabbage, and it's going to be Jespi over here that takes the last hits against Star 9. Their health is looking pretty low though, so are they just going to keep on engaging for this Audino? Oh, what happened to the Cabbage on top?
Oh, it looks like the Absol is now the one in the jungle. It just actually got a kill. I think that's exactly what we wanted to see in the first game, right? Like I said, Absol is a early to mid game Pokemon. Once he gets its level 5 is when it come online. And with the jungle position, he's able to come online earlier than what we saw just now.
Sana just looking for the picks on the bees and possibly onto Solo as his health just gets low. But the jungler from Star 9 is available in the form of a Curlia, and Sana is just forced to back away. If not, he's just going to be taking unnecessary risks. Now, as you
Sana
said,
going in.
Okay, never mind. Dev is just picking up the slack of Sana. Sana dealing that damage that Dev can just clean up upon, and that's just going to be a show of Divinity's teamwork. Wow.
Yes, and now at bottom lane, I think bottom lane still is actually to the benefit of Star 9. Pikachu once again has a better last hit than the Bulbasaur, and it's already level 5, forcing the Bulbasaur to still be level 4, not evolved yet, unfortunately. And because of that, Star 9 can play a little bit more aggressively, try and get the levels and make up for the losses that has happened at top lane.
But we still have to take note though that this is still in the early laning phase of the game. The tides could very well turn when the Dreadnought spawns, so Divinity may look like they're in the back foot right now, but it's possible that they're able to make a comeback like they did just in the first game where they stole the Dreadnought. So what could possibly make the outcome of this early stage in the game?
Well, I think right now the difference is that the Absol is already at level 7 and it has a general lead against the Pokemon on the side of Star 9. This means it probably will be able to capitalize on the level differences and try and get the kills onto the side of Star 9.
That little Cabbage was just not able to teleport back to base in time, and Sana just clipped himself away, sending him back to base the hard way. But now as we speak, Dreadnought is going to spawn, Star 9 is already poised to take it, while Divinity is sending their troops down. but the Gabite is just going to be staying on the top lane, so it's going to be forced into a 4v5 situation. But it doesn't matter as Sana just goes in and changes it to a 4v4, but the Gardevoir is going to make it into a 3v4 as the Fairy Singularity down to a 2v4, giving Star9 an overwhelming advantage for this Dreadnought. Just be looking for the steal, but it's not going to happen as Star9 secures the Dreadnought for themselves.
That was an amazing team fight taken by Star9. I keep talking about how this Absol is supposed to counter Gardevoir, but this Gardevoir is just proving me entirely wrong at this point.
Like, okay, how does Absol counter Gardevoir anyway? Like, explain it to the viewers.
Okay, so basically, Gardevoir doesn't have a lot of mobility, so Absol is supposedly able to close in onto this Gardevoir, which is so squishy, right? And you're able to kind of get in through the Sucker Punch or through the Night Slash. But unfortunately, he's also very squishy, and Gardevoir was just able to take him out even when he had half HP.
Man, you talked about how Absol was supposed to counter Pikachu as well, but Absol just absolutely annihilated this Absol, and he's gonna pick up the Hoopa 2 boot, giving him a really amazing double kill. Rufus, you angry Pikachu, who hurt you? Goodness!
I think Star9 definitely showing us that that they are strong enough to actually counter the counter picks on the side of Divinity, and putting up such a great show. Looking at the levels now, they and such a advantage. Gardevoir at level 11, none of them on the side of Divinity has reached its level 10, and now they are going to make the gap even bigger, not just in terms of experience, but in terms of the points as well.
This Absol going in and getting annihilated. It's not really a sight that you want to see, but Star9 will destroy that first tier goal and are looking forward to push the second, but Divinity has their backup coming up, and Star9 is taking the tactical decision to just retreat. This Dreadnought is going to spawn in 20 seconds though, so Star9 are sending their Pokemon down to possibly just zone Divinity out. And what must Divinity do now? They do have the Garchomp though.
Yeah, they are kind of coming in from two angles, coming in from the top as well as their own side, but Star9 right ready to zone them out of the fight. Ooh, a lot of
the fight is breaking out now. Midnight Slash and Bliss Assistance are being used, but Star9 are popping Unite moves of their own. We see all the barriers keeping them alive, and it's Divinity who is going to start falling. Their HP bars are looking so low, and it's starting to disappear. This Gardevoir dealing so much damage. Divinity is just wiped out from the face of Dreadnought, and Dreadnought will sign the lease agreement to go with Star9, giving them the EXP and the shields yet again.
Yes, did you see that great Fairy Singularity that happened just now? It caught 3 on the side of Divinity, and Divinity just couldn't respond fast enough. They were so low in health, and Star9 just took them out so quickly after that.
Yeah, there wasn't really much that Divinity could do except just, take that L. And they tried to go for the Rotom, but Star9 is already up here to contest it. Sure, their goal zones may be really, really low, but what really matters is who lands that last hit in order to make that push. Oh, look at that damage off that Future Sight. That just took out so much health from them. And like you said, this Gardevoir dealing so much damage, and Absol really needs to pick on this Gardevoir, but Star9 is just protecting this boss so well. Rotom is down to 25% health though, as the Thunder Shock is being used, and Divinity will be the one to recruit Rotom into the ranks. Rotom is going to start marching down to the goal zone of Star9, but it doesn't really matter if there's nobody to push with him, as Divinity takes 2 Pokemon losses on their side, and Rotom will disappear as well.
At what cost did they take that Rotom? Was it actually worth it? Star9 actually getting in the dunks instead. Not just that, look at the level differences. It's a level 13 Venusaur already, and it's not even the last Dreadnought fight yet, or the Zapdos.
Yeah, I mean, Star9 pretty much pulled out a Uno reverse card right on Divinity. They take the Rotom in hopes of breaking the, but they're just like, you can take the Rotom, but we will take your goal zone. And the next Dreadnought will spawn in 20 seconds yet again. This is the last Dreadnought before Zapdos spawns. Now, Dreadnought and Zapdos, these are 2 really, really big objectives. Which one's more important for Divinity right now?
Well, I think Divinity has already decided that they want the top goal first. I think this Dreadnought might be quite important for them, but it's also very close to the Zapdos fight. And if they had actually taken the Dreadnought fight, they will be late to position themselves for the Zapdos fight.
Okay, Buddy Barrier keeps Ihao alive as Sun assassinate Ihao. Just just ends up in tatters. Ihao is going to be alive for this Zapdos fight, as Absol has still yet to spawn. Divinity right now in a temporary 4v5 situation as Star9 is just storming the Zapdos pit. A 5v4 situation, like I said just now. Star9 just putting up an oppressive defense against Divinity, not really allowing them to come in. There's a hoop, a Rings Unbound being popped by Aerie, keeping this Pikachu in place. But Wraith will be caught in the Fairy Singularity, but not before popping the Unite move off his own. Divinity is going to be running through the portal in hopes of trying to catch Star9 off guard. But KST is going to be looking so low. The Verdant pop and the Bliss Assistance coming in, keeping them alive. Sana, what are you gonna do? You're able to do the damage, taking out 3 Pokemon. 3 Pokemon are down for Star9. It looks so dire for them, but the tables are being flipped. Star9, they only have 2 Pokemon remaining. It's just Venusaur and this Blissey, and the Venusaur will go down. Solo is gone! And so is the Blissey. The Blissey will be scoring 50 on top. But Divinity is just going to go straight for this Zapdos. Zapdos is looking pretty low though. Will it be a steal? No, it will not be. Divinity with the Zapdos. They're just going in for the points. I'm just speechless right now. I'm just lost for words.
I think that team fight was crazy at Zapdos. Star9, once they saw the Hoopa actually used its Unite move, it actually went in straight with the Fairy Singularity, but just unable to take the fights well enough. Divinity ends up being the one to take the Zapdos.
Star9 looks so dominating in the mid to late game, but Divinity just flipped it on his head, took the Zapdos, and is just going to extend that goal lead. Look at that goal lead, just close to 300 with 15 seconds remaining. Star9 isn't going to be able to catch up. I think it's the Garchomp that brought them to the knees. And then we're going to be going into game number 3 as Divinity takes game number 2 away from Star9.
Wow, that game seemed to be so one-sided at the start, but in the end, all that mattered was the Zapdos fight. It was such an extended fight. I think they almost had enough time to actually... Star9 almost had enough time with Solo creating so much space for the Gardevoir to come back, but it still just wasn't enough. Divinity just coming in strong, being able to take the Zapdos fight and then turn the tables onto Star9.
Yeah, when Sana jumped in just now during that 3v2 situation, I really thought that it was going to be the end for Divinity, as Absol just didn't really have enough health. But suddenly, the Pokemon from Star9 just disappeared, and that gave Divinity a free pass to start the Zapdos and take it for himself. Welcome to Zapdos Unite. The one who takes the Zapdos has a higher probability of winning, and we see it right here with Divinity flipping it on its head.
Yeah, I think maybe the Star9 got a little bit overconfident, especially with once Ihao actually managed to get the Fairy Singularity in. They all just rushed in, but instead they rushed into their death.
Yeah, it just looks so promising right there, but you know what? Maybe they gave the fans what they want. They gave the viewers what we wanted. We want to see a game 3, and that's exactly what we're going to see. A really hype match in the grand finals for today? Yes, sir! Please hit me up with that. I want to see that.
All right, like what we said, there's gonna be a game 3, and what does that mean for our brackets? This means that they are fighting for the top position in Elite Division. All right, and Divinity versus Star9, we saw them change their strategy, and yeah, here it goes, the knockout stage. Divinity and Star9 both having one win for this match, and we are gonna see another game. So Divinity and Star9, we saw them change their team composition in the second game. This is the third game. What do you guys think will happen? Rox, do you think they're gonna change their team composition yet again?
Yep, I think Star9 definitely will be changing the team comp again. And I think, there's so much at stake, right? It's not just about winning this league. They are also kind of putting the LCL points as well as $200 at stake. So I think they really want to give their all for this, and they really want to find a way to go against the Garchomp that they actually brought into this tournament that just kind of was used against them.
Right, speaking of Garchomp and of course Cake's favorite, Hoopa, we do not know if they might ban this time round. Cake, what are your thoughts or predictions for this coming game?
Well, so far, the team that brought in the Garchomp was the team that won. So I'm not saying there's a correlation here. It may be a coincidence, but make of it what you will. Garchomp right now in the hands of Divinity and Star9 proves to be so strong. Star9 brought out the Garchomp first, then Divinity whipped out the Uno reverse card and brought it straight to them as well. So maybe this time we'll see two Garchomps fight against each other, and who doesn't love seeing two dragons battle? But like you said, they may change their team comps yet again. We may see an AG Slash, who knows, maybe a Trevenant will just appear out of nowhere, Phantom Forest suddenly, oh look at all my shields, herder! So it's just unpredictable at this point since these two top tier teams know what they're doing. They have many strategies under their belt, and these strategies can prove to be really useful if the opponents are not expecting.
Right. Rox, did your thoughts change with who is gonna win for this match after this game, which leads us to game 3?
I think both teams have definitely shown us really well that they know what they're doing and they really want this. I personally still think that Star9 is where my vote is at, just because I think they have been doing so well, so consistently all this time in all the different seasons, and yes, my vote is still on them.
Right. Rox is Star9, Cake is Divinity.
Yes!
Right. All right, for this next game, Divinity vs Star9, the final game of the day. All right, Cake, do you have anything else that you might want to add before we get into the game?
Alright, since you know we've seen both both teams just pull out their cards, there are some Pokemon that haven't appeared yet though. Like throughout this entire series, we haven't seen. Okay, I'm not just saying Mamoswine because it's just a random Pokemon.
Cut off. We haven't seen a what?
A Mamoswine.
Mamoswine.
Yeah, a Mamoswine. Yeah. I'm not just saying Mamoswine because it's just like a random Pokemon. I'm saying Mamoswine because Mamoswine is actually pretty strong, like if you use it correctly, and it's actually a really good counter for like some of their divers like Lucario or Talonflame just coming in, because he has access to like a really nice passive with Freeze's Pokemon and Ice Fang as well, which just like freeze. And so like these kind of plays are something that I really want to see, but at these high tiers, it may not fit into their strategy so much. But this is just an example of how some Pokemon have really niche users that it may not fit into like let's say a certain team comp, but if you like play around that Pokemon, it's still possible to have it happen. So we might be able to see this in like this really high level teams where they just bring out a really niche Pokemon like Wraith during the last Friday night. He brought out the AG Slash, and that's not a Pokemon that you really want to see at this high level, since like he's squishy and his way that his passive interacts is just like a bit weird.
I do think it really depends on whether or not it synergizes in the team compositions, but let's not go too much into that right now. Let's go into the game.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking at Divinity against Star9 for today, and it seems that we're gonna be looking at the same bands, Blastoise and Slowbro, Lucario and Talonflame, and Star9 will be the one who picks up the Garchomp.
Yeah, and now it will be Divinity side to see whether or not they will be also picking the Garchomp instead. But before that, let's look at the bands that they have selected. Star9 has selected to ban the Blissey and Talonflame.
Well, Divinity, we'll be looking at their bands are not in yet, but judging by what we see over here, Blastoise and Wigglytuff are going to be used, and never up. Lucario and Slowbro will be banned from them. So Divinity with this new lineup and Star9 with a fresh lineup as well. I'm pretty interested to see what happens. Like they enlisted Ninetales who recently got buffed with such an elegant Aurora view.
A very exciting team composition coming in from both sides. We are not actually seeing the Venusaur Blissey combination that we're also used to. It's now going to be a Wigglytuff and the Venusaur, but we will see how it actually goes.
Right, $200 for this Elite Division, Divinity versus Star9. Let's get this.
Alright, we're going back into a 1-1-3. Never mind. Star9's opting for 2-1-2 against Divinity 3. And that's going to be a cabbage in the jungle against this Fire Rabbit Star9.
Well, I think it's a very interesting team composition, and with the different strategies, it means that Divinity will have the advantage in the bottom lane, but Star9 will have it in the top lane. So it really depends on whether or not they're able to utilize it well to get the kills onto the other side, play aggressively on the side that they have more people on, and make the most out of that.
Alright, so now we're looking at a fresh team composition for both sides. So what do each side need to look out for in order for them to secure the win?
So I think for the side of Divinity, they definitely want to prioritize this Venusaur, and that's why it's also in the jungle. By sending the Ninetales into the bottom lane, they have a very strong laning phase, right? With a lot of crowd control, with a lot of range coming in with the Hoopa, the Ninetales, and Wigglytuff as being the initiator that we've seen in all the games so far earlier.
Oh, okay, like we said just now, Sana just initiating with that onto Ice, who doesn't really have that, and the health is going to be chunked down, but the focus band over there just keeping him alive, but he's asleep yet again. But Sana just doesn't really have the damage in order to keep him, in order to finish him off, and he will be the one who pays for that sing of a song.
Yeah, it seemed like they got a little bit split up right there. Jaspi wasn't able to follow up onto his Wigglytuff, and because of that, he will actually fall. But I think looking in terms of the bottom lane, Divinity still does have that advantage with the Ninetales being able to put in so much lane pressure.
Ninetales is one of the Pokemons that I don't really like playing against since there's like so much CC. But will Divinity be able to use that CC to their advantage though? Ice over here will be frozen in. But oh no, Sana falls yet again. But Ice just getting caught out by the Hoopa, but he's able to run away with just that full stop of a HP. Now Ruvis will take revenge on them and take away the Ninetales as well. And he has opted to go for Trick instead. Wow! Trick Hoopa, part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I think Trick is honestly a really good pick. And not to mention, Star 9 actually have so much poking abilities with Aerie as well as Ruvis. Just having that much range to kind of go in and just poke Divinity down and play so aggressively because of that.
Speaking about aggression though, Death and KST over here trying to push Solo out of his lane, but Solo, as his name suggests, is taking this fight alone by himself, forcing KST and Death to actually run away and stop their assault on his top lane. Meanwhile, Dreadnought is about to spawn and 4 Pokemon from Star 9 are already down, while Divinity is also going to follow suit, but it seems that Star 9 has the advantageous position for this Dreadnought. They don't seem to be starting it yet though. Divinity trying to find a pick on them as Ice goes in with the Sing, but doesn't manage to put anybody to sleep as Divinity with the 5 Pokemon already trying to find the entrance onto this Dreadnought, but one Pokemon from each side will fall though. That's going to be the Garchomp that's falling, and it's going to be Divinity who lands the last hit onto the Dreadnought, and not only the Dreadnought, but on Aerie as well.
Yeah, with that, KST is now level 9 and he just able to run them down all the way into the base.
Oh my god, that's not somewhere you want to see a Venusaur at. The Flux Zone ain't gonna matter much to him as the first tier goal is gonna, and so will Ice on the Wigglytuff. The Rotom is up for the taking though, so will it be good for Star 9 to take it?
I think most likely the teams are going Divinity side and would try and farm around the area since they don't really need the Rotom as much, but Star 9, they kind of want to look towards it now. But they are actually the ones to be farming around instead.
I mean, maybe they don't want the Rotom since, like, you know, I know about Rotom anyway. But Star 9 is going to make a initiative to try to take this, but Divinity will be the one to take that, and the poor Gabite who ended up as collateral damage. They're going to break this first tier goal in order to allow Rotom to march to the second, but they didn't manage to break it fast enough, and Rotom will just assist in breaking that first tier goal right there.
Yeah, I think Divinity now, they have all the stage 3 Pokemons where they want it to be. They have the Venusaur, they have the Blastoise, and with that, they are able to just zone the side of Star 9 so well. Blastoise so tanky with the Wigglytuff in the front line as well. They're just, Star 9 just doesn't have the answer to them at this point. Ice managed to score a little bit on that bot tier goal, but he will pay for it with his life, and so will Ruvis. That's not going to be really worth it as the Dreadnought is going to spawn in 20 seconds, and Divinity looks like they have a really nice position and vision on that Dreadnought bush. So for Star 9 to come in and take it, I think they're going to be walking into a little bit of danger, right? Yeah, it would definitely be a bit risky for them considering like the level differences that they have, but they do have a Garchomp. They do have that Cinderace, and that means they have some objectives secures.
And they do have a team fight happening right now. Body barriers are going to be given up. again as Divinity loses the Wiggly and they lose 3 Pokemon on their side as Star9 looks so dominant in this team fight. Body barriers keeping everybody alive, but not for Divinity. Call an ambulance, and it's for Divinity as Star9 just breaks down this first tier goal and takes this Dreadnought for themselves as well.
Yep, Star9 definitely knew that it was their time to shine with the Cinderace coming in, just bringing the Venusaur down so low without the Blissey on the side of Divinity. It's just not able to sustain as much as it wanted to, and because of that, Star9 just manages to wipe out Divinity from the face of this earth, and now the level of differences is actually quite even.
And they seem to be continuing this momentum from taking this Dreadnought into trying to take this Rotom. But Divinity is already there though. Star9 just... I don't think they're really positioning to take this Rotom. So Divinity is just gonna really have a free pass. But Aerie just gonna be giving them a little bit of vision, trying to steal it with the Leaf Tornado. But doesn't really manage to. And she's gonna get her life stolen by this entire team of Divinity instead.
Yep, I think Star9 didn't want to contest that, knowing that they have already expensed most of their Unite moves at the Dreadnought fight. Instead, they decide to kind of farm around the entire map because they know that they can defend this Rotom from actually coming in, and they're just trying to use this time and space to kind of just increase the level differences between them and Divinity. And you know, they have the long game in mind, right? They just want to make sure that they're able to take the fight at the Zapdos pit, because that is the fight that truly matters in this game.
Alright, now I kind of want to ask you, Divinity has the advantage in terms of goals, while Star9 has somewhat of an advantage in terms of levels. So who is in the lead right now?
Well, I think what we saw just now in the Dreadnought fight is probably an inkling of what we might see in the Zapdos pit. Cinderace is just able to bring KST down so low, and I think this is where they want to come in from, right? They want the Cinderace to bring the Venusaur down, and then without the Venusaur, you know, you don't have to be so scared about the other attackers on the side of Divinity, like the Ninetales. And yeah, that's the angle that Star9 would definitely be going in from.
Well, the last Dreadnought has spawned. It seems to be just being given to Star9 since they have such a dominant position now. Ihao just kicking it away, and Divinity trying to come in with the steal, and it's gonna be Water Spa from Blastoise. Oh my gosh, you mad lad! And Blastoise will steal the shields and the EXP for Divinity. 10 seconds till this Dreadnought spawns. Garchomp is down on the side of Star9, and they're just gonna take a team fight right here. It's gonna be Deja Vu since both sides are just popping out body barriers like nobody's business. Avoidant Anger does bring them to low though, and the freeze from Ninetales manages to freeze those Pokemon from Star9 into their base, and Divinity knows that they have the advantage. They're just gonna start the Zapdos right here, but Garchomp is back. Solo has his Unite move, Dragon Dive just going right in, but he's gonna be put to sleep. His health is low, his health is gone. Ice trying to find the angle into it, and the Hyperspace Hole manages to save whoever is on the side of Divinity, and Divinity is just gonna chunk it down. Aerie coming in. Will she get the steal? No, she will not. Blastoise is gonna be able to take the Zapdos like how he took the Dreadnought just now, and Divinity is just gonna go for it. Goal after goal will be scored, but not before Blastoise goes down, but it doesn't matter. The Grass type starter Pokemon, which is KST, will be the one who scores in his stead. Pokemon are going to be falling from Divinity though, and Star9 only roughly 200 points in the difference. They still have a chance to make this work. They still have 60 seconds. Rocks, will they be able to make this work though?
Well, I think now the point difference isn't that high, but I think Divinity just now, can I just say that fight was so well taken? They realized it was so close to the Zapdos pit. They realized that they had the Dreadnought shields on them, and they knew that was the time for them to engage in the fight, and that's what they actually did.
Oh man, I think Star9 is planning to engage for another one, and we see 62 from Garchomp and 100 from Wigglytuff. That's going to bring the goal difference just down to a measly single digit, but the Pokemon from Star9 are going to be... But the one that is going to be low will be Sana, as he Water Spout from Blastoise trying to bring everybody down. He manages to bring Garchomp down though. Oh, but it's going to be a 3-point lead on Star9. We saw Divinity with that lead just now, but it's going to be Star9 with a 3-point lead. Now, will they be able to make this comeback? No, there's no. Wigglytuff scoring yet again. Star9 with that goal difference. They managed to take the lead just by the skin of their teeth. Divinity, they took the Zapdos, they took the fights, they took all the goals that they could, but Star9 just came back with that clutch. Oh my goodness. Just a 21-point difference. That's a single dunk. I'm losing my voice. Divinity has lost this match, and Starlight has taken this match away from Divinity in a spectacular show of a game.
Oh my gosh, Kay, I totally agree with you. That game was entirely spectacular, and I think the most amazing part was that while we are looking at the scores, both sides, Divinity, Star9, they didn't know the scores. They didn't know it was a 3-point difference. They didn't know it was going to be this close.
Yeah, I was just hanging on the edge of my seat. And honestly, my seat is pretty big. And for me to hang on the edge of my seat, I really have to just move all the way. And that's exactly what they did for us. Would you see such an intense game like this in your pub matches? I think not. Okay, maybe one or two. But on this level, yo, viewers at home and fans of Divinity and Starline, I hope you're happy because boy oh boy am I!
Yeah, that was definitely a great showing from both teams, and I'm just so amazed and so glad that we are able to see this kind of gameplay on Iron City League.
Yeah, it's just that goal difference. I think it's a fitting end for these grand finals, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. And
but
I'm
look at the
just
number of points
lost
Rubius
at a
scored,
loss
though.
for words.
Just look at the number of points Rubius scored. You're at the loss of forwards. He is at the loss for points. He didn't even score anything, but they still won. They still won.
Well,
And
I
you
mean,
know what they had? They had the Garchomp as well.
yes, yeah, I agree. And honestly, I know we keep talking about the 0-point thing, but different Pokemon have their different roles, and it's perfectly
Yeah.
fine to get the 0 goal as long as you know what your role is and you're doing it well. And I think Rubius did so well coming in with that Hoopa Unite move, and he did so much for his team. And let's give him that kind of credit.
All right. If you guys enjoyed this match, let's just raise up your left hand. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much.
Divinity versus Star9. Star9 winning. Actually, like what you said, towards the end, it seems like Divinity was gonna win. But Star9, I saw their team march straight to the goal zones and just dunking it in, and we were just mind blown at how fast the points were very close to each other. And Rocks, you were right. Star9 won, and Cake, you were rooting for Divinity. They put up a great fight. They won the second game, but in the end, it was Star9 who's taking home the $200, the champions for the elite stage. Yeah, we're looking at it now at the knockout stage. It's Star9 who is bringing home the bacon, and Divinity right below them. NSV, obviously, we did not forget what a good fight they've been putting up in the first two games. Let's move on to the Masters. Here we are looking at Renaissance. We only get to see them play once yesterday, and Kimochi down there with the Pokeballers. And next up for the Challenger, we did not get to see them online, but here they are, the Royal Flush and Hashira X. But obviously, because of the LCL format, they would still walk away with $50 and 6 LCL points, as well as 5 LCL points for Hashira X and $40 for them as well. Wow, what a game. Obviously, we're looking at the first qualifiers just for today with the $600 prize pool just for this qualifiers. And then next month, we're gonna see the April qualifiers and the last qualifiers on May, with the top 8 teams going on to the championships on June. Guys, watch out for that. That is an offline event. All the measurements in Singapore are going down. We're gonna have a blast. It's not too late to sign up. We still have 2 qualifiers. So if you want to join and you got what it takes, head on over to Lion City League and sign up, and watch out for the signups that we're gonna have on the 3rd week of every month. Yes, and all the signups will get a chance to win a Prism Plus gaming monitor just by signing up. So thank you guys to our partner Prism Plus. Wow, what a first qualifier we had. What are your favorite moments from either the first day or the second day? Rocks.
Well, I think the grand finals was definitely the show that all of us was waiting for, and it did not disappoint. The point differences were so low, and it could have been anyone's game, even towards the last few seconds.
Right. And Cake, what about you? Which is your favorite match?
You definitely know it. It was the finale of the grand finals. That margin of a difference was so beautiful. It was just like you wouldn't really see it every day, and to be able to see such a close fight. Oh my god! I was floored. I was just floored. Goodness.
Right. That's so true. You know, from the first game, actually, NSV versus Divinity, Divinity won. And in the second game, we had NSV versus S9, and Star 9 won that. And they also won this third match. It was so mind blowing for me. Rox, what are your final thoughts? Especially for those viewers who's watching, they're probably taking notes about how the pros play. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the Lion City League is not just about the pro plays, and we really want to encourage more people to play the game, whether or not you are playing at the highest of tiers or even the mid tiers as well, or if you just want to dip your feet into like a little bit more competitive play. And that's what Lion City League is all about. We want to make sure that everyone has a chance to actually play the game, improve together, and learn from each other as well. So I think that's what the viewer I hope that viewers take back, and I do hope to see more participation into the next few months of Lion City League.
Right, very well said, Rox. Guys, if you guys want to see more of Rox, you can follow her at RPSan, triple N, actually. I know some of you guys in the comment section are like, you know what's happening. All right, and Cake, what are your final thoughts for this first qualifier?
One word. Garchomp. We've seen Garchomp bring victory with nobody's business just now, so don't sleep on Pokemon that you think are bad, because you never know if these niche Pokemon can actually lead you to victory. Never think that the Pokemon is bad just because other people say it's bad, but if you're able to manipulate the Pokemon in a way that will bring you the victory, go for it. I mean, these matches are good to show that different ways of playing different Pokemon can actually bring you different results, especially with the Trick Hoopa. So don't be afraid to experiment, and for newer players who are thinking of coming into the competitive scene, this is a good opportunity to try.
Right. Cake has a lot of words of wisdom. You know, if you guys want to hear more from him, you can follow him at Cupcake2OWO.
Oh, it's just Cupcake 2.
Right,
Cupcake
yeah.
2.
And we're both on Twitch and Instagram, but of course we want to shout out to our organizers, the Three Big Cats, as well as the Prism Plus and Pokemon Unite Singapore. If you're not part of the community yet, head on to facebook.com/PokeUniteSG /. And of course, like what we said, the champions will win $200, the runner-up will win $140, so on and so forth. We can't wait to see which new players and teams we will see in the next qualifier on April. So on behalf of the team, thank you guys for watching. We hope to see you on April. Yeah.